Today we are doing greatest common factor again, but we're introducing variables. So what happens? Okay, let's start with the normal parts of these. So the numbers. In 29, that's 43 and 4. They're not both even. They won't divide by 3, and 4 won't divide by anything bigger, certainly. So what's going on here? The numbers don't have anything. They don't appear to at any rate. Well, this is what we call a worst case scenario. What does everything share as a factor? Every single number in existence that is real shares one common factor, no matter what. That's number 1. So numerically, all we can do here is 1. How about variably? The first term has x to the second power. The second term has no variables at all. Greatest common factor means the variable has to be common to both in order to be part of the greatest common factor. Since nothing is shared here, there's no letter in our answer. For number 30, when we look at 36 and 18, so the number parts, they can both divide by 2. That gets me 18 and 9. They can both divide by 3. That gets me 6 and 3. They can both divide by 3. That gets me 2 and 1. So for GCF, remember GCF is just the left side. We're going to have 2 times 3 times 3. That's 2 times 9, so that's 18. As far as variables go, the 36 does not have any letters, which means there can be no letters as part of our greatest common factor. Number 31. Now let's save ourselves a little bit of effort here. Look at both of these. They both have the number part identical. So they both have a 16 for sure. Now variables. The first 16 has a u and a v. The second 16 has v to the second power. Do they both have a u? No. Do they both have a v? Yes. Do they both have more than one v? No. The first term has a single v. The second term technically has 2 v's. V to the second power is v times v. So what's common? A single v. Our GCF is 16v. For 32, the number part. So we got 24, we got 36. They'll both divide by 2, giving us 12 and 18. Those will both divide by 2, giving us 6 and 9. Those will both divide by 3, giving us 2 and 3. Our GCF is the numbers on the outside edge. Sorry, the left edge only, not the full outside. Let me say what I mean. So that's 2 times 2 times 3. That's 4 times 3, so our GCF is 12. As far as letters go, the 24 has an m to the second power, but the 36 has no variables. No variables means no variables in the GCF. For number 33, our numbers are not the same, so we do need to do our work. These will not both divide by 2, because they're not even, but they will divide by 3, giving us 15 and 5. Those will both divide by 5, giving us 3 and 1. GCF pulls just the outside numbers, so 3 times 5 is 15. So we know we have a 15 as part of our GCF. Now, letters. Do they both contain an X? Yes. Do they both contain more than one X? No. The 45 just has an X. The 15 actually only has an X as well. So X is part of our solution. How about Y? Do they both possess a Y? Yes. That means Y has to be part of our solution. Does either one possess more than a Y? Yes. The second term has 3 Y's technically. But because the first term only has a single Y, what's common is just a single Y. The 15 just has a couple extra. Our GCF is 15xy. Number 34, let's take a notice real fast before I do anything silly there. Numerically, we have the exact same thing again. So numerically, we're going to be 24. As far as the variables go, we have x's and y's again. Do they both have an x? No, only the first term has x. So no x in our GCF. Do they both have y? Yes. Do they both have more than one y? Yes. So what's the fewest number of y's that either one of these have? Well, 2. They both have 2 y's because of y to the second power. Since they both have 2 y's, our GCF has 2 y's. 24 y to the second power. This idea extends to groups of 3 as well. So numerically, we need to do 16, 12, and 8. So they'll all divide by 2, giving me 8 and 6 and 4. Those will all divide by 2, giving me 4 and 3 and 2. Because we're doing GCF, I don't need to do anything with the 4 and the 2 in the bottom now. That's only an LCM thing. So GCF, numerically, 2 times 2 is 4. Now, variables. There are x's and there are y's. Do all 3 of these have an x? No, x will not be part of our GCF. Do they all have a y? Yes, so y will be part of our GCF. Do these y's have exponents? No, just a single y in the answer then. For 36, do yourself a quick favor. Notice that numerically 2 of these have 48s. So when I do my GCF, do I really need to write the 48 twice? No, we don't. Both are even, so let's knock them in half. Both are even, let's cut them in half. Both will divide by 3, and that's as far as we can go. 2 times 2 times 3 gives me 12 as the numerical portion. Letters. All 3 of these have an x, so I know my GCF will have an x. Do they all have exponents? No. Only one of them has an exponent on the x. That means that our GCF cannot have an exponent. The only way our GCF can have an exponent with a variable is if all of the variables have exponents on them. And if that happens, as you're about to see, we just take the smallest exponent. In number 37, numerically, we have 40, 32, and 24. So let's see, these can all cut in half, giving me 20 and 16 and 12. Those can all cut in half, giving me 10, 8, and 4. Those can all cut in half, giving me 5, 4, and 2. GCF means I don't worry about the 4 and the 2, so we got 2 times 2 times 2 is 8. So 8 is part of my GCF. Do these all have x's? Yes. Do they all have exponents? Yes. What's the smallest exponent? 2. That means they all have at least x squared inside of them. X squared is part of our solution. Finally, number 38, we have 20, 15, and 40 inside. Let's see, these are not all even. They will not all divide by 3, but they will all divide by 5. Giving me 4, and 3, and 10. And again, it's GCF, so I don't care about the 4 and the 10 underneath. All that matters is the 5. Look at our letters. We have U's and we have V's. Do all 3 terms have a U? They do, so we include U. Do any of those U's have exponents? They don't, so we don't got to worry about an exponent on U. Do all 3 terms include a V? They don't. There is no V as part of our GCF. The GCF of this group of 3 things is just 5U.